Okay, so have you ever just gotten like a ton of information on something and you just think to yourself, like, where do I even start with this?
Yeah.
That's where we come in.
That's right.
Today's deep dive is all about the disappearance of Tom and Jackie Hawks.
Oh, okay.
And you actually sent me over a bunch of really interesting stuff on this one, including this YouTube video by Mr. Ballin.
Mm.
And this one is called This Child Star is Evil. Mature Audiences Only.
Ooh.
Yeah, just the title alone, right?
Yeah, it's
Kind
kind
of
of
creepy.
It is. It is. And this case is really one that I think shines a light on how this dream retirement can
Right.
turn into a total nightmare.
Yeah.
You know, the Hawks, they were really just looking forward to enjoying life after working so hard.
Hmm.
You know, Tom was an ex-probation officer.
Okay.
Jackie was a dedicated mom to his 2 sons.
Yeah.
And they were all about family.
Aww.
You know, they sold their home. They bought this yacht called Well Deserved. It was kind of like classic Americana.
Yeah, I mean, like the all-American dream type of thing. Yeah, exactly. So then they decided to sell the yacht because they had a grandbaby on the way.
Uh-huh.
And it was time for them to kind of be landlubbers again. And that's where Skylar and Jennifer Deleon enter the picture.
Right.
This young couple. And they kind of have a little bit of a Hollywood vibe going on because we're talking about Skylar, who claims to be a child actor
Okay.
on Power Rangers.
Wow.
So, you know, they're kind of trying to project this image of success.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
And it's really a stark contrast between these two couples, right? The Hawks are representing like stability and traditional values, and then you have the DeLeons with this kind of more like ambiguous past.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And right away, Skylar's criminal history should have been a huge red flag.
Yeah.
He had done some armed robbery in the past.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
Yeah, so I mean, you would think that an ex-probation officer would have some alarm bells going off.
Right. You would think.
Right.
Yep.
But the sale happens anyway.
Okay.
There were multiple witnesses to the sale.
Okay.
It was a cash transaction.
Okay.
And then Tom and Jackie, they just drive off, seemingly into thin air.
Oh, wow.
And this is where the story takes like a really sharp turn.
Okay.
So the Hawks were super close to their family.
Okay.
Always in contact.
Uh-huh.
And Tom's brother Jim was a retired police chief.
Okay.
And he just knew like right away that something was wrong.
Yeah.
No calls, no money from the yacht sale.
Right.
It just totally screamed foul play.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Jim's background is really key here because he understood the concept of probable cause.
Right.
So he knew like the reasonable grounds to believe that a crime had occurred.
Exactly.
So the police, they get involved. And of course, the DeLeons are immediately suspect number one.
Yeah.
Skylar's past, their evasiveness, it's like everything's pointing at them.
Right.
But this is where it gets really crazy. So Skylar, he confesses, but not to murder.
Oh.
He admits to money laundering.
Oh, wow.
And he says that the yacht purchase was all a scheme to clean dirty cash.
Interesting. So, like, confessing to a smaller crime.
Right.
Yeah.
Was this calculated? Was he trying to deflect suspicion?
Yeah.
Hoping that they'd let him go if he gave them something? Or was there like a tiny bit of remorse there? Maybe for the money laundering, but not for something more sinister.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And get this, they actually let him go.
What?
In exchange for information about the Hawks.
Oh, my gosh. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a super high-stakes gamble.
Yeah.
They're hoping to leverage his guilt, hoping that he'll crack and lead them to Tom and Jackie.
Right.
But Skylar, he sticks to his story and claims he knows nothing about their disappearance.
Oh, wow.
Then, boom, another bombshell. The Hawks SUV is found abandoned in Mexico.
Oh, God.
Still no sign of Tom and Jackie. It leads the police straight back to Skylar. It's almost like he was leaving breadcrumbs,
Yeah.
taunting them.
Yeah.
So this brings up a really big question, like what kind of person goes to these lengths to cover their tracks?
Right.
Was this all a part of the plan, or did things just totally spiral out of control?
Yeah.
All right, so strap in because this is where it gets dark.
Okay.
Remember those witnesses to the yacht sale? Like the notary and all those people?
Yeah.
Well, they crack under pressure and admit they were paid by Skylar to lie.
Wow.
To fabricate the entire sale.
Oh, my goodness. So the web of deception is just like totally unraveling.
Yes.
And Skylar Deleon, he's at the center of it all.
Yeah. And then enter Alonzo. He's this former jailer, and he ends up becoming Skylar's accomplice.
Okay.
And this guy met Skylar in jail.
Okay.
So can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, your friend from jail confesses to being an international assassin for hire. and then asks for your help.
Oh, my gosh.
Right.
That's a little scary.
Yeah, it's totally chilling because it paints this picture of Skylar as someone who can, like, totally compartmentalize.
Right.
And move between, like, a seemingly ordinary life and this world of, like, calculated violence.
Right.
And that's exactly what he did with the Hawks.
Okay.
Alonzo reveals that Skylar had targeted them for their money and saw them as, like, easy prey.
Okay.
And here's the truly disturbing part.
All right.
Jennifer was allegedly the mastermind.
Oh, wow.
So they were using their baby to lure the Hawks into a false sense of security.
Oh, my gosh. So, like, exploiting that, like, vulnerability that comes with new life and family.
Yeah.
That's just horrifying.
Absolutely heartbreaking. So according to Alonzo, they met the Hawks for what was supposed to be a sea trial.
Okay.
Skylar, John Kennedy, and Alonzo.
Right.
Tom was instantly wary. I mean, his law enforcement background was probably kicking in.
Yeah.
But then Jennifer, she arrives with the baby.
Right.
And everything changes. So Jackie was super excited about being a grandmother.
Yeah.
And let her guard down.
Oh, gosh.
So it's a classic manipulation tactic.
Yeah.
Playing on their desire to be close to family.
Exactly.
Just absolutely heartbreaking. Once they were out at sea, Skylar and John Kennedy attacked Tom below deck while Alonzo overpowered Jackie in the galley.
Oh, my gosh.
They were handcuffed, their mouths and eyes were taped shut.
Oh, my goodness.
And this is where, like, the brutality of the crime is just undeniable.
Yeah.
So they forced Tom and Jackie to sign over the yacht and their bank accounts.
Oh, my God.
Jackie deliberately misspelled her name on one of the documents, which is a common tactic to signal that you're under duress.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine the terror, the desperation, knowing that their dream is turning into a fight for survival?
Oh, my God.
That's terrifying.
So then Skylar, Alonzo, and John Kennedy led Tom and Jackie to the back of the boat, chained them to an anchor, and threw them overboard.
Oh, my God.
It's hard to even fathom.
I know.
The cold calculation, the utter disregard for human life.
It's unbelievable.
Alonzo described how Tom desperately tried to hold on to his wife, but the weight of the anchor was just too much.
Wow.
Jackie hit her head on the railing as they were pulled into the ocean.
Gosh. To think that even in their final moments, they were trying to protect each other.
Yeah.
It's really a testament to the Hawk's strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Skylar's reaction, he just like let out this like celebratory woohoo.
Oh my God.
And laughed as they disappeared into the waves.
Oh.
It's just chilling.
Yeah.
Inhuman response to something so horrific.
Totally. It sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it, but it gets worse.
Oh no.
So remember that video camera that the Hawks had?
Yeah.
It was found at Skylar and Jennifer Deleon's house, but the footage had been tampered with. So the last recording of the Hawks was Jackie happily showing off the yacht.
Okay.
And then it cuts to Skylar and Jennifer celebrating Thanksgiving with their daughter. They literally recorded over the Hawks' final moments with their own family celebration.
Wow. That's just like a whole other level of depravity. It's hard to comprehend. You know, erasing the victims and replacing their lives with this like fabricated narrative.
Right.
Really speaks to a profound lack of empathy, this chilling detachment from the consequences of their actions.
It's like they were trying to convince themselves that the Hawks never existed.
Right.
That their crime had no real victims, but justice in a way was served.
Okay.
Alonzo received a 20-year prison sentence.
Wow.
John Kennedy and Skylar Deleon were sentenced to death.
Oh, wow.
And Jennifer Deleon received life in prison without the possibility of parole.
So it makes you wonder, though, can justice ever really be served when you're talking about such unimaginable cruelty?
Yeah.
The sentences, while severe, obviously they can't bring back the Hawks.
Right.
They can't erase the pain that was inflicted on their loved ones.
Yeah.
This case also brings up some questions about the ethical dilemma that law enforcement faced. When they initially released Skylar Deleon in exchange for information.
Yeah. I mean, it was a tough call, right?
Yeah.
On one hand, they were desperate to find Tom and Jackie.
Right.
And they really believed that Skylar might hold the key to their whereabouts.
Uh-huh.
But then on the other hand, releasing him put other potential victims at risk.
Yeah.
So it's just this classic ethical dilemma with really no easy answers.
Absolutely. It shows the really difficult choices that law enforcement officials have to make in these situations, weighing the potential benefits against the potential risks, and knowing that any decision that they make could have big consequences.
Yeah, for sure. This case also raises the question of whether anything could have been done to prevent this tragedy.
Right.
So you have Tom with his background as a probation officer, and his brother Jim was a retired police chief.
Yeah.
So they were both pretty familiar with the criminal justice system,
Right.
and you would think that they would have been more attuned to some of the potential danger signals.
Yeah. It's perplexing, right? You think their experience would have made them more cautious,
Yeah.
more aware of those red flags. But maybe they were just blinded by their excitement about retirement,
Yeah.
about starting this new chapter in their lives. Maybe they were just focused on the dream and not the potential nightmare that was lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah, or maybe it was just like a matter of trust,
Yeah.
Maybe they were just too willing to believe in the good in people, maybe too quick to dismiss those like nagging doubts
Right.
that might have saved their lives.
It's like this classic dilemma, trying to balance optimism with a healthy dose of skepticism, especially when you're dealing with strangers.
Right.
This case is a really stark reminder that evil can wear many faces, and that even the most meticulous plans
Yeah.
can just totally be shattered by unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, it's just unsettling to think that someone like Skylar Deleon, with his boyish charm and claims of child stardom, could be capable of such calculated cruelty.
Right.
And it really challenges our assumptions about who we can trust and the very nature of good and evil.
Yeah, it forces us to confront the darkness that exists even in the most unexpected places.
Yeah.
I mean, we tend to categorize people as either good or bad.
Right.
But this case shows us that the lines can be blurred.
Yeah.
That even seemingly ordinary people can be capable of doing some really horrific things.
And the fact that Jennifer DeLeon, the seemingly innocent young mother, was allegedly the mastermind behind it all, just adds another layer of complexity to this disturbing story.
Yeah, it's a chilling reminder that appearances can be deceiving.
Right.
That we can never really know what's lurking beneath the surface of the people that we encounter.
And Jennifer DeLeon using her baby as a pawn in their scheme, knowing it would disarm the Hawks and make them less suspicious, is just beyond comprehension.
It really is. It preys on our empathy.
Right.
Our natural inclination to trust people who appear vulnerable.
Yeah.
Especially people who have young children. It's a manipulation tactic that's been used throughout history.
Yeah.
Exploiting our basic human instincts for really nefarious purposes.
Oh, it's awful. This case is such a stark reminder that even the most kind-hearted individuals can become victims of those who prey on their good nature.
Yeah, and the act of erasing the Hawks' memories from the video camera, replacing them with their own family moments, that's just a chilling display of their attempt to control the narrative, to pretend that their victims never even existed.
Right.
It's a testament to their arrogance.
Yeah.
Their belief that they could manipulate reality and escape the consequences of their actions. But in the end, the truth has a way of surfacing, and they were held accountable for their crimes.
This deep dive has been such a roller coaster of emotions. The Hawks' dream retirement turned into this terrifying ordeal,
Right.
ending in their brutal murders, and it just leaves this lingering sense of unease, you know?
Yeah.
Reminding us that the world can be such a dangerous place, even for those who have really earned their right to pure and happiness.
Yeah, it underscores the importance of listening to our intuition, of not dismissing those nagging feelings of doubt.
Right.
Sometimes those gut instincts are our best defense against those who would do us harm.
Yeah.
We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information and stimuli, but it's crucial to tune into those inner voices that warn us of potential danger.
It's like a sixth sense.
Right.
Like this primal instinct that's hardwired into our DNA.
Exactly.
And we often ignore it in favor of logic or social pressures, but sometimes that gut feeling is all that stands between us and harm.
Exactly.
Like Tom's initial unease at the dock, for instance.
Right.
That might have been a warning sign.
Yeah.
But he chose to override it, maybe out of politeness or this desire to just believe the best in people.
Yeah. It's really the tragedy of this case. If they had trusted their instincts, if they had heeded those warning signs, maybe they'd still be alive today.
Oh, it's so sad. But amidst the tragedy, there's also this glimmer of hope, right? The resilience of the Hawks family, their unwavering pursuit of justice.
Yeah.
It shows us that even in the face of unimaginable loss, the human spirit can endure.
For sure.
Jim's determination to uncover the truth and bring the perpetrators to justice.
Yeah.
It's such a testament to the strength of family bonds and the power of perseverance.
It reminds us that we're not alone in this fight against evil.
Right.
That there are people who will stand up for what's right, no matter the cost.
Yeah.
The Hawks case, as horrific as it is,
Yeah.
it highlights the importance of community,
Mm-hmm.
of supporting one another in times of crisis and working together to create a world where justice prevails.
It's a powerful message that resonates far beyond the specifics of this case. It reminds us that while darkness may lurk in the shadows, there's also an abundance of light in the world,
Yeah.
embodied by those who fight for justice, protect the vulnerable, and who refuse to let evil triumph.
It's also a reminder that vigilance and awareness are our best weapons,
Yeah.
against those who would exploit our trust.
Right.
We can't live in fear,
Right.
but we can educate ourselves, be aware of our surroundings, and just trust our instincts when something feels wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's like one of the biggest takeaways
Yeah.
from this whole deep dive. The Hawks story, as tragic as it is, can
Ugh.
serve as a lesson for all of us.
Right.
It reminds us to be cautious, to do our due diligence, and to never let our guard down completely,
Yeah.
no matter how tempting the situation may seem.
And to remember that evil doesn't always wear a mask.
Right?
It can be disguised as charm,
Yeah.
as success,
Mhm.
as normalcy.
Right.
I mean, Skylar Deleon, with his Hollywood aspirations and that seemingly harmless demeanor,
Yeah. Yeah.
he was a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Totally.
He lulled the Hawks into a false sense of security, exploiting their kindness and their trust.
It's a chilling thought, isn't it? That
Yeah.
someone you meet or
Yeah.
someone you think you can trust could be harboring such dark intentions. But I think it's also important to remember that cases like this,
Yeah.
while horrific,
Yeah.
they're relatively rare.
True.
Most people are inherently good.
Right.
And we shouldn't let the actions of a few erode our faith in humanity.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the darkness, to focus on all the negative.
Right?
But it's important to maintain perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, for every Skylar Deleon out there, there are countless others who live their lives with integrity, compassion, and a deep respect for human life.
Exactly. And that's what we need to focus on.
Right.
The kindness, the generosity, the
Yeah.
everyday acts of love that make up the fabric of our society.
Yeah.
We can't let fear paralyze us.
Right.
We can't let the actions of a few dictate how we live our lives.
Yeah.
We need to learn from these tragedies, yes, but we also need to hold on to hope,
Yeah.
to believe in the goodness that exists in the world.
I think that's a beautiful sentiment and a fitting way to conclude our deep dive into this complex and disturbing case.
Yeah.
The Hawks story is a tragedy, a stark reminder of the capacity for evil that exists in the human heart. But it's also a story of love, of family,
Yeah.
and of the enduring strength of the human spirit.
And ultimately, I think that's the message that we want to leave our listeners with.
Yeah.
The world can be a dark place, but it's also a place filled with light, with love, and with hope. We just have to choose to see it, to embrace it, and to let it guide our way.
Couldn't have said it better myself.